Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share with you a mystery, a secret hidden in plain sight, the power to grow young again, not just in body, but in spirit, in soul, in the very essence of who you are. We live in a world obsessed with age, with numbers that tick forward on the calendar. But what if I told you that growing older is not the same as growing old? What if the secret to youth was never about reversing time, but about rediscovering something you once had and never should have lost? Think back to when you were a child. You woke up each day with wonder. You had no fear of tomorrow. You believed in miracles. You dreamed without limits. You ran not because you had to, but because you felt alive. And then life happened. Disappointments came. Responsibilities piled up. You learned caution, you embraced doubt, and little by little, the child within you faded. But what if that child was never meant to disappear? What if, instead of growing old, you could grow young again? The answer is not found in creams or diets or surgeries. It is found in something much deeper. It begins with the heart. A heart that refuses to be weighed down by yesterday. A heart that chooses joy over bitterness, faith over fear, hope over despair. A heart that dares to dance even when the world tells it to sit still. To grow young again is to unlearn what the world has taught you about impossibility. It is to see the sunrise as if for the first time. It is to laugh without self-consciousness. It is to forgive freely, to love boldly, to believe in the unseen. It is to trade cynicism for wonder, routine for adventure, regret for renewal. And above all, it is to understand that you were never meant to be just another statistic, another weary traveler on the road of life. You were meant to shine, you were meant to soar, you were meant to live, not just exist. There was a time when life was filled with wonder, when the smallest things, a butterfly landing on your hand, the sound of raindrops on a window, or the way the stars lit up the night, felt like miracles. As children, we lived in a world where everything was new, where every day held adventure, and where we didn't just see the world, we experienced it. Our hearts were light, our dreams limitless, and our joy unshaken. We didn't count the years, worry about the past, or fear the future. We simply lived in the moment, embracing the beauty of now. But then, as we grew, something changed. The world taught us to be careful. It taught us to measure success in numbers, to judge experiences by logic, to seek security instead of adventure. Slowly, the wonder that once filled our hearts began to fade. We became too busy to stop and watch the sunset, too distracted to hear the laughter of children playing, too weighed down by responsibility to dance in the rain. The very things that made life feel magical became things we barely noticed anymore. But was this ever the way we were meant to live? Were we meant to trade curiosity for routine, joy for stress, and faith for fear? The truth is, youth was never just about age. It was about a way of seeing the world, a way of experiencing life with open hands and an open heart. And if that is true, then it means something extraordinary. Youth is not lost with time. It is lost when wonder fades. And if wonder can fade, it can also return. The secret to growing young again is not found in turning back the clock, but in turning back the heart. It is in choosing to see the world as you once did, not as something ordinary, but as something extraordinary. It is in finding beauty in places where you stopped looking, in believing in possibilities where you once saw limitations. It is in reclaiming the joy that once came so easily, in feeling awe at the simplest of things, and in realizing that life was never meant to be merely survived, but truly lived. It is possible to live this way again. It is possible to wake up each day with excitement, to laugh without hesitation, to run simply because you feel like running, but it requires a shift, not in age, but in perspective. It requires choosing to see life through the eyes of a child, to embrace mystery instead of demanding certainty, to expect goodness instead of anticipating disappointment. It requires trading stress for gratitude, worry for trust, and heaviness for lightness. There is a reason why the purest joys in life are often the simplest. A smile, a song, a hug, a moment of silence under a vast sky. These are the things that keep the heart young. These are the things that remind us of who we were before the world told us who we should be. And if we can return to that, if we can find that wonder again, then time loses its power over us. Because youth was never about years, it was always about the heart. There is something about childhood that carries a sense of freedom. A child wakes up each day without the burdens that weigh down an adult. They do not dwell on yesterday's mistakes or worry about what tomorrow might bring. They live in the present, fully engaged in the moment, embracing life with open arms. Their faith is simple yet unshakable. They believe without hesitation, love without condition, and dream without limits. They find joy in the smallest things: a butterfly in the garden, the sound of laughter, the feeling of the wind on their face. They do not question whether they should be happy, they simply are. But somewhere along the way, we learn to be cautious. We learn to doubt, to fear, to analyze everything before we allow ourselves to trust. Our faith, once so natural, becomes complicated. We start demanding proof before we believe. We hesitate before we love, afraid of getting hurt. We stop dreaming so big because we have learned that failure is real. The joy that once came so easily is now something we must work for, and often we feel as though we have lost something precious, something we can't quite name. Yet that childlike faith, joy, and curiosity were never meant to disappear. They were never meant to be replaced by cynicism, doubt, and routine. In fact, they are the very things that keep the soul alive, that keep the heart young. The more we lose them, the older we feel, not in years, but in spirit. The more we cling to fear instead of faith, the more we allow worry to replace joy. The more we let routine suffocate our sense of wonder, the heavier life becomes. But the good news is that what was lost can be found again. To grow young again is to return to that childlike way of seeing the world, not as something ordinary, but as something extraordinary. It means learning to trust again even when we have been let down. It means choosing joy, not because everything is perfect, but because joy is a choice. It means embracing curiosity, being willing to ask questions, to explore, to learn, to be amazed. There is power in simple faith, the kind that does not need to see every answer before it believes. There is freedom in childlike joy, the kind that laughs without self-consciousness and finds beauty in the ordinary. There is wonder and curiosity in the ability to look at life with fresh eyes and see possibility instead of limitation. These things are not childish, they are life-giving. They do not belong only to the young in years, but to all who are willing to embrace them. A child does not need a reason to dance. They do not need permission to dream. They do not need proof to believe in something greater than themselves. They simply live fully and without hesitation. And when we learn to live that way again, when we reclaim the faith, the joy, and the curiosity we once had, we do not just feel younger, we become younger in heart, in spirit, in the way we experience life itself. Fear, doubt, and regret are the silent thieves of youth. They do not announce their arrival with great force. Instead, they creep in slowly, little by little, until one day we wake up feeling older, not just in body, but in soul. They take away the lightness we once had, the excitement we used to feel, the sense of possibility that once filled our hearts. When we were children, fear did not rule us. We climbed trees without thinking about falling. We spoke our minds without the fear of judgment. We tried new things without questioning if we would fail. Doubt was foreign to us. We believed in ourselves, in others, in the goodness of life, and regret, it did not exist. because we lived fully in each moment without worrying about what we should have done differently. But as we grew, fear began to whisper in our ears. Be careful. Don't take risks. What if you fail? What if you get hurt? And so we held back. We stopped chasing dreams because we feared disappointment. We stayed within the boundaries of what was safe and familiar, even when our hearts longed for more. Doubt followed closely behind, making us question our abilities, our worth, and even our purpose. It told us that we were not enough, that we had already missed our chance, that we should settle for less. Regret then became our companion, reminding us of every missed opportunity, every wrong turn, every moment we wished we could do over. It weighed us down, making the past feel heavier than the present and the future seem unreachable. And so little by little we aged, not because of time, but because we allowed these things to take residence in our hearts. Fear, doubt, and regret are not just emotions, they are chains. They bind us to a life smaller than the one we were meant to live. They steal our energy, our joy, our ability to dream. They make us hesitant when we should be bold, anxious when we should be moving forward. But the truth is, we were never meant to live this way. Youth is not about the number of years we have lived, but about the way we live each day. A heart free of fear beats with excitement for the future. A mind free of doubt sees possibilities where others see obstacles. A soul free of regret moves forward with confidence, unburdened by the past. And the incredible thing is that we have the power to break free. What if we chose to let go of fear and step out in faith? What if we silenced doubt and believed in the dreams still buried in our hearts? What if we released regret, knowing that every mistake, every detour, every moment of our past has shaped us, but does not have to define us? Imagine how light we would feel, how much younger we would become, not in body, but in spirit. Because true youth is not just about having more years ahead of us. It is about living fully, without fear, without doubt, and without the weight of regret. The number of candles on a cake, the wrinkles on a face, or the passing of years on a calendar do not determine true age. Some people are young at 80, while others are old at 30. What makes the difference? It is not simply genetics, lifestyle, or circumstance. It is the condition of the heart. The heart carries the true measure of age, shaping how we experience life, how we embrace each day, and how we perceive the world around us. When the heart is heavy, burdened by the weight of disappointments, bitterness, and fear, it ages faster than the body ever could. But when the heart is light, filled with hope, joy, and wonder, it defies time itself. A heart that remains young is a heart that chooses life. It is a heart that still dares to dream no matter how many years have passed. It does not say it's too late for me. It does not say I've seen too much to believe in anything anymore. Instead, it wakes up with expectation, with a sense that something beautiful could still be ahead. It does not allow past wounds to turn into permanent walls. It does not let disappointment harden it into stone. It keeps beating with excitement, with possibility, with the energy of someone who knows that life is not over until the very last breath. But too often people allow their hearts to grow old long before their time. They let themselves become weighed down by routine, by negativity, by the idea that the best days are behind them. They stop seeing beauty in the ordinary, stop believing in the extraordinary, stop expecting anything new. They wake up and go through the motions, not truly living, but merely existing. And in doing so, they become old, not in body, but in spirit. The saddest kind of aging is not the one that changes the face. It is the one that dims the light in the eyes, that dulls the passion in the soul. Yet it does not have to be this way. The heart has the power to be renewed. It can be restored, refreshed, made young again. But it requires a choice to let go of the things that make it heavy, to release the pain of the past, to embrace the joy of the present, and to step into the hope of the future. It requires a willingness to remain open, to keep loving, to keep laughing. It requires a refusal to be cynical, to be bitter, to be afraid. A young heart is not a heart that has never been hurt. It is a heart that has chosen to heal. The greatest secret of youth is not found in diets, exercise, or medical breakthroughs. It is found in the heart. A heart that forgives, that loves freely, that embraces wonder, that chooses joy. That is the heart of someone who never truly grows old. It is the heart of someone who, no matter their age, is still fully alive. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful forces in the world, yet it is often one of the hardest things to do. When we hold on to bitterness, resentment, and past wounds, we think we are protecting ourselves, but in reality, we are doing the opposite. Unforgiveness is a weight that the heart was never meant to carry. It does not simply affect our emotions, it affects our entire being. It drains our energy, darkens our perspective, and slowly, without us even realizing it, adds years to our soul. The burden of unforgiveness ages us far more than time ever could. Think of a child. A child gets upset, cries, and within minutes they are laughing again. They do not keep a record of wrongs. They do not replay the hurt in their minds over and over again. They move on because their hearts are light. They know how to release what is not meant to be carried. But as we grow older, we learn to hold on to things. We replay old conversations, relive past betrayals, and keep wounds fresh long after they should have healed. We build walls to protect ourselves, but those same walls trap us inside our pain. And what does this do to us? It robs us of joy, it steals our peace, it makes us suspicious where we should trust, closed off where we should be open. It keeps us looking backward instead of forward. It turns the heart into stone, making it harder to feel, to love, to embrace the beauty of life. And over time, it changes us. The face hardens, the laughter becomes less frequent. The eyes lose their sparkle because bitterness does not just stay inside, it manifests in every part of who we are. But there is a way to reverse this process, a way to grow young again, and that way is forgiveness. To forgive is to release the weight that is holding you down. It is to free yourself from the chains of the past. It does not mean that what happened was right. It does not mean that the hurt was insignificant. It means that you refuse to let it define you anymore. It means that you value your peace more than your pain. It means that you choose freedom over bondage. And when you forgive, something incredible happens. The heart becomes light again. The face softens. The soul breathes. There is a renewal, a restoration, a returning to the person you were meant to be. Full of life, full of joy, full of the energy that comes from living unburdened. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it transforms the present. It allows you to embrace life fully, to love without fear, to laugh without restraint. It is the secret to keeping the heart young, because a heart that forgives is a heart that remains free. And a free heart is a heart that never truly grows old. Joy is often misunderstood. Many believe it is something that comes from perfect circumstances, from everything going right, from having all the pieces of life fall into place. But true joy is not found in what happens around us. It is found in what happens within us. It is not something we wait for. It is something we choose. A child does not need a reason to be joyful. They laugh freely, dance without self-consciousness, and find excitement in the simplest things. They do not wait for a perfect day to enjoy life. But as we grow, we start attaching conditions to joy. We tell ourselves, I will be happy when I achieve this goal, when I have more money, when the stress is gone, when life is easier. But the problem with this way of thinking is that there is always another when. There is always something else to wait for, another reason to postpone joy. And so little by little, we lose the ability to experience joy in the present moment. We trade wonder for worry, excitement for stress, and gratitude for a constant longing for more. But what if joy was never meant to be something we wait for? What if it was meant to be something we choose no matter the circumstance? Joy is not about ignoring difficulties or pretending that life is perfect. It is about shifting our focus. It is about learning to see the beauty that is already present instead of always looking at what is missing. It is about being grateful for what we have instead of consumed by what we lack. It is about embracing the moment, no matter how imperfect, and finding something good within it. Joy is a choice, and those who choose it remain young at heart. Think about the people who are full of life, who radiate energy, who seem to have a lightness about them. It is not because their lives are easier than others, it is because they have learned to embrace joy despite their challenges. They have learned that laughter is medicine, that gratitude changes everything, and that the ability to find happiness in the little things is one of the greatest secrets of life. On the other hand, those who allow stress, bitterness, and negativity to take root in their hearts begin to age long before their time. Their faces become tense, their words become heavy, and their outlook on life becomes clouded. They spend their days waiting for joy instead of living in it. But the truth is, joy is available to all who are willing to embrace it. It is found in a simple smile, in a deep breath, in a moment of appreciation for the life we have been given. The secret to remaining young is not just in taking care of the body, but in nourishing the soul. And nothing nourishes the soul more than joy. Those who choose to laugh, to celebrate, to dance even in the rain, those are the ones who never truly grow old. Because joy is not a result of circumstances, it is a way of life. The world is constantly moving. Every second time passes, and with it opportunities arise and disappear. But while time moves forward, not everyone moves with it. Many people become stuck in their past, in their failures, in their disappointments. They dwell on what was, what could have been, and what should have happened. They live their days looking backward, replaying moments that can never be changed, carrying regrets like heavy stones on their shoulders. And as they do, something happens. Their hearts grow heavy, their energy fades, and the weight of yesterday begins to steal the joy of today. But life was never meant to be lived in reverse. A river does not flow backward. A tree does not shrink back into the ground. The sun does not rise in the west and set in the east. Life moves forward, and those who wish to remain young in heart, in spirit, and in energy must learn to move with it. To be truly alive is to embrace each new moment, to see each day as a fresh beginning, to let go of what is behind and reach for what is ahead. A child does not dwell on yesterday. If they fall, they get up. If they cry, they wipe their tears and move on. They do not carry grudges, regrets, or fears of the past. They wake up with excitement, looking forward to what the new day holds. And that is the key to growing young again. Learning to live with that same forward-moving spirit. It means refusing to let past failures define you, refusing to let old wounds keep you bound, refusing to stay in a place you were never meant to remain. But many resist moving forward because they fear the unknown. They would rather cling to a painful past than step into an uncertain future. But what if the future holds more than you could ever imagine? What if new joys, new dreams, and new adventures are waiting for you just beyond the place where you refuse to let go? Moving forward does not mean forgetting where you have been. It means refusing to let it hold you back. It means taking the lessons, the wisdom, and the experiences of the past and using them as fuel to propel you into what is next. When you move forward, you release the burdens that age the soul. You regain the lightness of heart that comes from living in the present. You step back into the flow of life where joy is found, where energy is renewed, where hope is restored. The people who remain young are not those who have had perfect lives. They are those who have learned to embrace change, to adapt, to grow, and to keep moving forward. They do not let life pass them by while they remain trapped in what once was. They understand that every day is a new chance to start again, to dream again, to live again. And in doing so, they defy time itself. because a heart that moves forward is a heart that never truly grows old. Love is the essence of life. It is what gives meaning to our days, what fills our hearts with warmth, what keeps us connected to the world around us. When we are young, love comes naturally. A child does not calculate whether someone deserves love, they simply give it. They run into open arms, they embrace without hesitation, they express affection without fear. They do not hold back their love because they fear rejection, nor do they withhold it because of pride. Their hearts are open, free, and full. But as we grow older, love becomes complicated. We learn to protect ourselves. We build walls to keep from getting hurt. We begin to measure love, giving only what we think is safe, holding back when we feel uncertain. We become cautious, guarded, sometimes even closed off. Love, once so effortless, becomes something we analyze, something we fear, something we hesitate to give. And in doing so, we lose something vital, not just in our relationships, but in our own. Because love is not just something we give to others. It is something that keeps our hearts alive. A heart that stops loving freely begins to grow cold. It becomes rigid, weighed down by fear, pride, and past wounds. It stops experiencing the fullness of life because life without love is empty. And as the heart grows cold, the person begins to age, not because of time, but because they have stopped engaging with the very force that keeps them young. Those who love deeply, who love freely, who love without reservation, are those who remain full of life no matter their age. Their eyes shine with warmth, their presence brings comfort, and their spirit remains light. But love is not just about emotions, it is about action. It is not merely a feeling, but a choice. To love is to be present. To love is to give of your time, your energy, your kindness, your heart. To love is to see others, to value them, to make them feel cherished. And in giving love, something miraculous happens. It returns. A person who loves does not run out of love. They are continually filled by it. The more love they give, the more they have. The more they open their heart, the more alive they become. Fear tries to convince us that love is dangerous, that if we love too much, we will be hurt, that if we give too much, we will be left empty. But the truth is the opposite. A heart that refuses to love does not stay safe. It withers. It becomes brittle, aged, lifeless. The secret to remaining young is to love fully, without fear, without hesitation, to embrace those around us, to cherish each moment, to give love even when it is not guaranteed to be returned. Love is the fountain of youth. It keeps the soul vibrant, the spirit light, the heart open. Those who continue to love, no matter what life brings, do not grow old in the truest sense. They remain full of passion, full of warmth, full of life itself. Because love is not just something we do, it is what we were made for. Life is not measured by the number of years we live, but by the way we live each moment. Growing young again is not about turning back time. It is about reclaiming the essence of youth that was never meant to leave us. It is about awakening the heart, restoring the spirit, and stepping into the fullness of life with the same wonder, passion, and joy we once knew. To grow young again, we must cast off the burdens that age the soul: fear, doubt, regret, and unforgiveness. We must learn to embrace joy, move forward without hesitation, and love without restraint. We must free our hearts from the chains of the past and step into the present with a renewed sense of excitement and possibility. Because youth is not found in age, it is found in the lightness of the heart, in the depth of our love, and in the courage to live fully. No matter how many years have passed, no matter what has been lost or what remains uncertain, the choice to grow young again is always before us. The secret is simple: live with wonder, laugh freely, love deeply, and refuse to let life become routine. Open your heart, embrace each new day, and walk forward with the spirit of one who knows that the best is yet to come. Because when you live this way, time no longer defines you, you become